Hello everybody, Althemir here with another video, and today we are going to be talking about the PTS Patch Notes that just came up a little while ago. Um, so let's dive right on into it. This should be week 3, so this should be a little bigger, like heftier of notes. I certainly hope. Um, Especially when it comes to Arcanist. So let's get right on into it. This is definitely not the bigger of the notes, so I don't know how much of this I'll actually keep. Okay, so they updated the launcher, which is a beta test. Okay. It operates nearly identical to the current version, but contains new features and improvements. Patching and installing is faster, more efficient. You can change the launcher's text size to be larger and easier to read. Well, I guess that's good for people who need that. New keyboard and gamepad navigation. What did I say? Support for the launcher on PC, so it's easier to navigate it without mouse. New options, obsolete file checker, log file locator functionality added to transition to and from the new launcher. Launcher will be more consistently will more consistently catch invalid file issues and offer to repair them. Error messaging presents clear. I can see bugs with this one. Can't you? I don't know. Error messaging presents clear details on internal launch issues. Visual changes on the loading bar while patching include the following: displays. What the display state? Jesus, that word. Display network speed. All progress is displayed through a single loading bar. Excuse me. How much do they do to this launcher? Why are you spending so much time on a stupid launcher that all of us spend like 10 seconds on? I'm sorry, but was the launcher in dire need of changing? Like, maybe it is. I mean, I'm grateful for the new accessibility options and settings and stuff like that, so it's a little easier for some people, but should you really be focusing on this? I mean, look at all of this. It's a launcher. We launch it and then we open the game and then we close it. We're on the menu for 10 seconds. I don't understand. I don't understand why we need this. Maybe I'm just, being a dick, but it's just so many things wrong with this game, including, and I know that they're working on it, but including PvP, and they do and they focus on whatever the hell this is. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overreacting because this was supposed to be the bigger week and it looks like it's a small week. But it's why 4K support? Who cares? Like, focus on broken crap. Who cares about a launcher? All right, sorry. Back to event testing. Zeal of Zenithar. This was a really fun event last time. I love this event. It's really good. It's a really, if you haven't done it, come to the PTS and try it. It's really it. I found it to be really fun. Um, I really did. What can new Kwama miner outfit, new Ashlander peasant weapon style pages. Okay, returning High Rock spell sword outfit style pages. Okay, cool, cool, cool. But yeah, this was a really neat event. I'm really happy that this is that this is coming back. For those of you who don't know, I guess I'll get into it. Your hard work is rewarded during Zenithar's holy festival. Zenithar is the, for those who don't know, it's Tamriel's or Nirn's, whatever you. Nirn is the planet. Tamriel is the main province that the main area we're focused on. So like Earth, and then like North America. Um, but Zenithar is the Adric god of like hardworking, like blue collar. Think of that, like blue collar, like crafters and farmers and etc. etc. If you're a returning player, you can complete the introductory quest if you want a refresher. I'll probably do it, but it is not necessary to dive right on into the event's bespoken daily quest. Honest Oil. This quest still rewards 3 event tickets the first time you complete it per account each day. Now notice that per account. Sorry, my allergies are really kicking my butt this morning. I apologize. The impresario will now have the first fragment for the Passion Dancer garment costume. I just, a lot of this just doesn't interest me. You got the personality, you had the emote, right? Now we're gonna have like a costume. I don't know. The third Morphling collectible for this year's the Bella themed offerings. Like I don't mind the Bella, I really don't. But just what they're offering, I'll have to see what this costume is, but it's just not appealing. Some changes were made to the box sourcing this year, and a few other aspects of the event. With the quest Honest Oil, the minimum gold you must spend at a guild trader to complete one of the conditions was increased to 10k, up from 5. The Belkarth Festival grounds are now a high traffic area for purposes of suppressing companions and assistants, but not presently pets in. Okay, that's interesting. Sorry to keep muting, but I don't want you guys to hear me clearing my throat and coughing. Fasaria, the bestower for Honest Oil, is now also present at the Any Impresario tent if you've completed the introductory quest. No need to travel to Belkarth Festival grounds to pick up the quest if you're already near an impresario. Okay, cool. Well, you still get a gold quality Zenithar's Sublime parcel for Honest Toll each day. We did make some small changes to the sourcing of Zenithar's delightful parcels, the purple ones. Completing Honest Toil on other characters after the first of each day. Altered for 2023, completing a daily crafting writ once per day per account. Altered for 2023, completing a master writ once per day per account per crafting discipline. Defeating a world boss or a world event while grouped with a guildmate. Now, I will say this event was a lot of fun, but it's also very group oriented. You know, like defeating a world boss or world event while grouped. Group area rounds while grouped, you know? So these are just talking about how you can get the, um, the purple boxes. This is how you can get all the purple boxes, in case that I somehow didn't make that clear. So if you solo like me, it might be a little like but that's alright. Stealing them from hardworking civilians of Tamriel, this is probably what I'll be doing. Either type of parcel can include, with gold quality sublime ones having a higher chance to drop, the good new shiny stuff. I love how they word stuff. They know me. Obviously that just means that the first one you get every day. Let me just like alf this up for people. So when you get a gold quality box the first time each day, you have a higher chance of getting this crap. The purple ones can drop it, but it's a lower chance. You have officially been alphed. Either type of I already read that. See, done. New minor outfit style pages. Ashlander peasant weapon style pages. I'll check them out, but crafting resources, style items for motifs. It's just a list of what can drop there. It's not bad. During this event, whenever it becomes to the live server, these things will be in will come with it. Way shrine travel costs are down, repair costs are down, crafting inspiration is increased, vendor prices across Tamriel are down. So that's cool. This includes gold AP or Telvar stones, including the golden vendor. House purchases for gold. I just bought a house for gold. God damn it. Bagger bank space upgrades do not count. So these things don't count. Of course, they're revamping this dude's inventory. Okay. It's nice that they still have these. Like, I'm divided because whenever I look up fragments to see what I need for the next coming event, I'm like, I'm just flooded with fragments of past pets that I didn't collect, or collected but are still there. And it's just like, why? Like, what? Like, go away. But I do like that for people who just joined the game and say, oh, like, I really wanted the unstable morpholith pet and blah, blah, blah. They can get that. All right, template information. No, I mean, because no, Sharper's Knight and Dude Guy, they're automatically unlocked, which is nice because I noticed that I didn't really want to do the quest. And then after all the controversy with Sharpest Knight's quest, I'm like, It just makes me think maybe they should rethink having to redo the companion quest, to unlock the companion. Like certainly if you want to like do a complete zone clear, you can do the companion's quest again, but you don't necessarily have to gain access to the companion on another character. Like once you've completed it and got the reward, just like any other reward in the game, you know, like once you've unlocked the companion, the quest should be optional if you just want to do it. You just want, maybe you miss something in the dialogue and you want to go back and, whatever. But I don't think it should be. I don't think you should have to do this. Not just because of this person's quest, but even the ones I have now. Like I just got High Isle. I didn't buy High Isle, but I just bought it, so I just got those two Ember and the Templar. And I'm like, I really don't want to do these quests like 3, 4 more times. You know, known issues. Now, guys, please, when you go onto the PTS, please take note of known issues. Honestly, and like I can't emphasize that enough. Again, known issues with the beta launcher. Then why have it? Anyway, because there's been issues in the past where people didn't read this and then they said like, "Oh, this is OP or that's OP," and I'm not talking about this year, but a couple years, in the past, and it's just like it's a known issue. Stop. You're gonna screw it up, and they did. Anyway, combat and gameplay. Okay, general fix an issue where many ability timers were resetting erroneously. Fix an issue where a health desync could occur when you used certain abilities in a certain combination. Very certainly, I can't say that word. Fun fact. I always say the ocean. Actually, Pacific. Yeah, I can do like specification, but whenever it comes to this and this, it's Pacific and Pacifically. See, I say the ocean. It's so stupid. Fixed a typo for the occult something, and this they fix shit. Fix an issue with the skill advisor having a passive learn too early. Well, they did do some fixes with at least they fixed that, but Jesus Christ. Okay, Arcanist. This is the big one for me. Did they increase the damage? I don't see it. You gotta be kidding me. All I see is words of fix the issue. Come on, Zenimax. Herald of the Tome, the imperfect ring, rune of displacement. Fix an issue where the pull could ignore line of sight. Fix an issue where this ability would aggro the target before the pull or damage was applied. The blinking eye fixed an issue where the tooltip for this ability and morphs listed the incorrect radius. I was wondering that. I was like, what the? It will now state the radius being 5 meters as intended. Soldier of Apocrypha, Crux Weaver armor, and Unbreakable Fate fixed an issue where the ability icons for these abilities were swapped. Yeah, I knew that. I mean, that was just, I was like, Gibbering Shield. I think I said that right. Fixed an issue where the damage shields would remain visible for too long. Rune of Horror, Rune of Uncanny Adortion. Sure. Morph fix an issue where this ability could not be blocked. Fix an issue where the charmed target would not follow the caster. Fix an issue where the. Okay, where are the damage increases? Now, maybe. Because, for those who don't know, I took about a year and a half or so off. I got really fatigued over, the constant combat changes, the fact that they tried to lie to us and then they tried to gaslight us and say, oh, we never said that we wouldn't do combat. Yes, you did. You did in live. Like, come on. So I took like a year and a half off. Now, unless things changed in those year and a half, the way PTS used to work was week one was the obvious big one. Week two was just things like this, like fixes and like just things that they wanted to include in week one but didn't have time or whatever, right? Maybe a few feedback changes, right? Like just things here and there. Um, and week three was the first bit of actual feedback that was that was implemented. Because then after then they only had week 4 and 5, right? And week 4 was typically a little bit bigger, you know, like whatever was still broken or still needed fixed. And then week 5 was, hey, this is how it's going live, pretty much. We're in week 3 now, right? I mean, I'm not stupid. We're in week 3 of this, and there's still like, am I? Yeah, because this is 9.0.2, and there was 9.0.0 and 9.0.1. This is week 3 out of 5, and yet nothing has changed for damage for Arcanist. This worries me, guys, because the Arcanist damage right now is kind of meh, you know? And not a lot is understood about it. Because while a lot of people tested it the first few days, the first like week, like there were definitely things that weren't tested. Like Greyhost style PvP was just not tested. I can't remember the last time. Oh, I can. I just lied. I don't remember when this was, but people who have played the game for a long time will know pretty much exactly when this was around. The last time that the PTS PvP server was um like actually almost like locked. Actually like locked with people. It was a devs versus players thing in Cyrodiil. The devs, I think, were DC. Now you could join DC and play with them, or you could join the other two and play against them. I played against them, of course. And this was right around what they wanted to test was Meteor and Ultimates because at the time there was a very bad bug. Now this isn't the cheat engine bug or anything. This is just the a bug that happened when there was a ton of lag, unbearable lag. You could cast ultimates multiple times as long as they weren't like a leap, like Dragon Leap or something. Like you could drop standard as many times as you wanted. The ultimate never went away because it was so laggy, it didn't register. You could drop multiple meteors because same thing, like it's so laggy that it didn't register. So if you hit the ultimate button enough, you could drop as many as you want. This was a really big bug, and they wanted to find where it was coming from. So they had this big event, That was the last time PvP and PTS was locked. And guys, this was a long time ago. This was before the cheat engine scandal. Like this was a long time ago. Ever since then, and after that, PvP on the PTS server has mainly been 5 or 6 people outside, usually Alessia, and we're all just dueling. That's pretty much what it is. It's not full scale PvP, and that's what hurts because you can sit here and you can duel people, but dueling isn't Cyrodiil. Even Battlegrounds isn't Cyrodiil. Battlegrounds is probably a better representation, but it's still not Cyrodiil, right? So I don't know. This worries me because we're on week 3 now. I think it's 5 weeks still, right? 2 more weeks, and there's no damage changes. There's no animation changes that I've seen so far. I mean, I'm not done yet, but it doesn't seem like they've changed the animation on things that people are having problems with. I am not having problems with the animations and the brightness, but there are definitely people who are, and that needs to be fixed. There's stories out there. I've read of people getting like bad headaches and migraines and whatever. Like, come on. I don't know. This worries me. We'll have to see what next week brings. I'm very disappointed that it's just fixes. There's no damage here. Because as of right now, the tentacle thing is going. I've seen people in trials use it as their spammable, but the way I'm going to use it is kind of like the way people use talons, or um, javelin maybe, or things like that. They use it for the after effect, not the damage, because the damage is kind of irrelevant. It's not as good as it's like, I'm using it for the knockback, or I'm using it for the stun. And that's what I'm using the tentacle for, is for the stun. So what you would do is you would ride up, you stun the target, and then you do the Fate Weaver, channel damage, and hopefully they can't break it. You could always cast the other one because I've stacked these on NPCs, but could be a bug. But there's one ability that does an immobilization, and there's another ability that does a stun. And I've actually cast both of them on a target. Now, just in case I did bug report it, but I don't know, like. So yeah, that's the way I'm using it. I'm not using it for the damage because the damage is all right, but like not for not for ability on a class that lacks a burst ability. I'm okay with them not having a burst ability. There are classes out there that don't. But if you're not going to have one, all these skills need to be on point. You can't have one that doesn't work or that's kind of garbage. And right now, the damage, even with Crocs, is kind of like, all right, you're probably in like, if I was in a number classes from 1 to 7, taking in consideration the three different damage styles, I would say Arcanist is probably like third or fourth. What do you guys think? If you had the 1 through 7, all 7 classes, damage only ratings, where would you rate Arcanist? I would say they're probably in like third or fourth. You know, I don't know. I don't really know. I know some people would be like, "What's your number one?" Well, probably Nightblades, but that's just my opinion. All right, Necromancer, Blast Bones fixed an issue with this ability, and its morphs were appearing in a new, unintended place. Come to me, my minions. Okay, I love that they fixed this, but the Magicka version of Blast Bones, unless I'm mistaken, is still the secondary effect is still useless. Just put a dot on it. You have a class that has a passive that increases dots, but they don't have dots. They have tether, which is kind of like in PvP. I mean, I use it more for the 3% damage boost, and it's all right, but it's not going to blow anybody out of the water. And you got Boneyard, which if you don't use the Harmony build, is just an AoE that's easily to get out of. That's really easy to get out of. So if you give like this a dot and like skulls a dot, boom, there you go. Like now you have a passive that actually means something. But until you give Necromancer more dots, why have that passive? It doesn't. It like why? I saw someone suggest this on the forums, and I thought it was great. I don't remember their name, but they said, "Why don't you switch the Arcanist status effect passive because the Arcanist doesn't have status effects really beyond chilled, right? Switch the Necromancer dot passive and the Arcanist status effect passive because stat effects work way much better on Necromancer because they're an elemental damage type. You can use elemental succession on this class very, very well. Whereas it doesn't really work on Arcanist, you know? I thought that was a pretty good idea by them. Okay, weapons. Resto Staff, Blessing or Protection, fix an issue with this ability and its Morse visuals. Could stack in some cases, fix an issue. Again, these are all just fixing issues. It's like, where's the damage adjustments? Like, okay, they adjusted some dialogue and text throughout Sharper of Night's questline based on some player feedback. Okay, that's a really good idea. Now, I don't want ZeniMax to stray away from these kind of storylines because it's an adult themed game in most cases, but also at the same time, we're talking about like a time in the world. If you compare it to our world, like the real world, medieval times, Viking era, those were harsh times. You know, I don't think much of anything was PG. You know, but I do like that they adjusted it because there are people out there who went through stuff, and you want people having fun, not getting triggered. So I liked don't stray away from adult theme stuff and more harsher, cool stuff. And for those who don't know, things like that are not new to Elder Scrolls series. Just in Skyrim in the Dawnguard DLC, for those who played it, you had to ask Serana how she became a vampire lord, type vampire, or what is it? The Daughters of Cold Harbor. Let's just. I'm not gonna get too much, but just to say, it wasn't pretty. You know, look up what Molly is the god of, and then go, oh, like it ain't hugging. Okay, Xanadu, that's what I'm calling him. I don't care. Will now correctly recognize all cordial tea provisioning items as types of tea, with the exception of those few recipes that use coffee as an ingredient. Okay, I didn't know that, but great. Fiction issue where that could incorrectly result in Sharp providing a rapport every time you zoned while having a monster trophy in your inventory. Oh man, that would have been really cool. Abilities. Abor's augmented ward. This ability no longer scales off of Xanadu's power, but instead scales off Xanadu's max health. Okay. This is just fixing issues. Sanities, dungeons, and group content. I don't really do group content, guys. I'll just pause it here. You can pause the video and read this. Now you can read this one. Okay. Exploration itemization. General fix an issue that cause certain unintended items to be included and otherwise appear to an elevated rate. Telvanni Peninsula has been renamed because it's no longer a peninsula. Yeah, sorry. I just thought that they would do that. And Apocrypha CE treasure maps are now bind on pickup. That'd be funny. You could sell these things. See, but these things are trash because people complained years and years ago that CE treasure maps were unfair for people who didn't buy the collector's edition. Let me say that again. People who didn't buy the collector's edition thought it was unfair that people who had the collector's edition got better stuff in their treasure maps. But that was the bonus of buying collector's edition. You had treasure maps that dropped usually like a set item. But people complained because they couldn't have it, so now it drops nothing. Now there's no set items in there, and honestly, these maps are trash. Unless they change it again, but I doubt it. The location of the Alchemical survey report in Apocrypha is now closer to where the survey report map says it is. You can remove some extra text from the Obsidian Dwarven Pet, the Sacred Watcher Hood Hat, and the Main's Gem collectibles. Okay, I don't do tribute, so I don't do that. Achievements, yeah, okay, whatever. Bastion Mimic, oh god. I think these are going to be a disaster. You know, I love that people who like difficult content or group, I hate to say group forced, but group oriented content. I love that they have a place to go because Overland is easy. I do like that. But thinking about it as in practicality, I think it's a bad idea to make world events group oriented and or extremely hard or just really long. I've heard people say that these are still fairly easy or like not hard, but not, um but they're really long. Like it takes a long time to do them. I'm thinking, okay, but what about a year from now? What about even 6 months after this drops? What about a year after it drops when the zone dies? These things will be completely useless. Maybe a few people will do them, but they won't be as done as much as like portals, the Deadlands portals are, or dolmens, or even dragons. Optional content chests now have a chance to reward either blue quality or purple quality overland item sets pieces instead of green and blue. And I think that's a good idea because it's more difficult content. Give people the rewards for it. Blue and purple. Like, come on. District bosses will drop either blue or purple jewelry. Good. Again, this is more difficult content. It should be rewarded that way. Greatly increase the chance of the final boss to drop a second piece. Again, good. I'm not going to be doing these, but for those who do, that's good for them, they adjusted some monsters and NPCs, changed some zones and quests. Just a bunch of fixes again. Usually week 3 is not fixes. I guess week 4 is now the big one. That's so I don't know. Uh, I don't really like that because aren't there only 5 weeks? So that means week 1 is the big release. Week 2 is the typically the patch notes are done in like 5 minutes. You could read them; it's like a sentence. And then week 3 is like the bigger one. It's the first week of feedback, and week 4 takes in more feedback, and then week 5 is this is pretty much how it's going to hit live, and we'll adjust as we go in the future. But I guess this is not the way it's going to be. I don't know. I'm not uh I'm not optimistic about Arcanist. I'm just not. I'm sorry. Like maybe you guys are, maybe I'm just having a bad morning, but I'm not very optimistic about Arcanist at all. Because we're in week 3 now of what 5 and or maybe it's 6 now, I don't remember. But and there's just bug fixes. There's no changes. I don't think any feedback has been considered yet. And this is the problem. Like I always give ZeniMax the benefit of the doubt. If you don't know, like because they're people just like us, they make mistakes. They choose wrong, or they. It's a corporate environment, and corporate environments can be absolutely horrible because your hands are really tied. With certain things. I've worked in a corporate environment, and they care. They don't really care about like us. You know Really. I mean, they do, but they don't. Like they care about making money, and they some people who decide things don't play video games. So it can really be it can really hinder things. But week three and no fixes to damage, no changes to any sort of abilities, adjustments. Um, it's just all bug fixes, and it makes me think that how Arcanist is right now, that's how it's going to hit live. I don't know. Maybe next week will be a humongous update with all the feedback, but I just don't have faith in that. Week three was always the biggest, and then week four was the next biggest. Week three and four were the bigger too, because those were the feedback weeks. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Are you excited? Are you as concerned as me about any of this? I just, I don't know. I mean, and really no mention of in here of like the rewriting of PvP code. For those tiny bit of a rant, if to end the video, if you guys don't want to hear it, it's about PvP and ZeniMax and and if you don't want to hear it, then thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. But for those who want to hear it, um, I firmly believe that ZeniMax actually really does care about PvP and PvP content, that they really do want to release it. I mean, there have been streaming and people and content creators who have gone to ZeniMax Studios, tested stuff, talked to them. Like Nephis QS. If you haven't, and he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, but check him out. He's really great with information. He's down to earth. I think he's pretty good. But he said, yeah, no, ZeniMax wants to do PvP content. Like Brian Wheeler, they want to do PvP. They have ideas. They want to do PvP content, but they're cautious. And I'm like, I think that's smart. I think that's smart. And I know people's like, well, they could add stuff without affecting performance. Well, how do we know? How do we know? Because we don't write the code. Matt Faror, I said his name wrong, but Matt, the big guy, the head honcho guy, he said it in an interview somewhere that there's like 26 million lines of code. Think about that for a second. 26 million lines of code. That's ridiculous. So we just don't know what affects what. I doubt when ZeniMax introduced siegeable Mile gates and bridges and added Volendrung, I doubt that they would have thought that added the problems that they did. They're like, this is something small to give them a little something. And for those who don't know, I'm going to cover this in another video. For those who don't know, they made plans for other weapons, like Volendrung. This was going to be a thing going forward that they probably thought was something small that they could add to PvP that just wasn't. It added a bunch of problems. So they said, okay, we didn't think this was going to add a bunch of problems. That's not good. Let's kind of full back. And they didn't release, I think the two that were going to be released are Ariel's Bow for sure. I think the second one was Sanguine's Rose. Again, it's in another video. Look for it on my channel in the future. I'll be doing it. I'll probably be recording that video today or tomorrow. But they want. Why do I have such faith when it comes to ZeniMax and PvP? It's because they're a business. I look at it from that standpoint. They are a business and they want to make money. And I really doubt that Elder Scrolls Online game is going to be this particular staff's only game. Now, I say this particular staff is because there's another staff that ZeniMax Online Studios has that is making another MMO. Now, think about that. That's a completely separate staff. They have their own creative director. Ours is Rich. Theirs is, I don't remember his name. So it's two completely different staffs. But how Elder Scrolls Online performs will directly affect that staff making that other MMO. And ZeniMax Online Studios is not stupid. They want to be a studio for the future. They want to go on. You know, there's only so much you can kind of say, "Oh, this was our first game. We didn't know." Blah 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 blah. It's not their first game as creators, most likely, but you know what I mean. That's why I say, why would they want to take all this crap from us players? Why would they just want to be like, oh yeah, like uh it's okay that you completely rip us apart and we're brutal. We're not gonna do that. Why would they sit there and take that? It's not a fetish. It's not like they sit there and be like, oh yeah, baby, say that again. Like, no, like they're like any human being. They don't like to get shit on. And so if anything, they want to improve PvP just to shut us the frick up. I mean, that makes sense to me, makes sense to other people. I saw someone else who had my point of view on this, and it's like, they're a business. They want to make money in the future. That's my main point. Not the whole like spiteful stuff. Like, they're a business. Elder Scrolls Online is not going to be the only game that the staff who makes this game is going to make. Eventually, the I would think eventually the door, the servers will close on Elder Scrolls Online. And if they don't, and the staff's going forward, then that's also a reason why they want to make PvP work. For this game to be around in like 10, 15, 20 years, they need to be reliable, and as of right now they aren't. But if they turn it around, they'll be fine. And so when people say they don't care about PvP, I'm like, from a business standpoint, it makes no sense for them not to. Now, I'm a PvPer. I understand the frustrations. I agree with the frustrations. But I also have to look at it and be like, I understand that they don't want it to be that way. They can't. Why would they? They're a business. That's like Walmart saying, yeah, it's okay that our greeter punches everyone in the nuts as soon as they come in. Whatever. No, like, they want people to come back. They ZeniMax Online Studios, they want people to play Elder Scrolls Online and to continue to play Elder Scrolls Online. And to do that, they need to be seen as reliable when it comes to fixing stuff. And right now, PvP is not. They do need to be more communicative. They've gotten better with that, but they still need to communicate, even if it's, hey, we're still rewriting, we haven't done much. Or, well, I mean, we don't see an end date yet, but we're still working on it. Even if they do that like once every few weeks or once a month, hey, we're going to be happy. So they need to improve their communication still. They've gotten better with communication, but they still need to get better. But to say that they don't care about PvP, I think is dumb. As one person said, and I kind of stole their whole entire quote because I thought it made good sense. Is why would they continue to take the verbal abuse that they take from us players? You know, it's not a kink. Like, why would they? My main point is, why would they want to lose money? PvP is a very fun, part of the game, and if they fix it, it's just going to be that much more amazing. And why would they want to get it to a point where it's at least not annoying? It's probably not. The lag is probably always going to be there, but if they get it to a point where it's just more of like funny and trolly than annoying, I think it's fine. Anyway, so that's all I'm saying. If you think that they don't care about PvP, I'm sorry, but I think your opinion. I respect your opinion. You can have that opinion. You have the right to have that opinion. I'm not saying don't have the opinion. I just think you're wrong. Because as a business, that's stupid. it hurts them going forward, and whether they move on from this game or keep it going. Every time people think of Elder Scrolls Online, they're gonna think of, oh yeah, but they ignore player feet. Like they had issues with PvP for years. They never fixed it. They just abandoned it. That's not a good look for an MMO. Think of what happened with Fallout 76 and Bethesda. They took a huge hit for that, but then they kind of like rebounded a little bit. You know, that's what they need to do. They need to rebound. So we'll see. It's smart from a business standpoint if they don't go down the lane of like EA Sports and like freaking Ubisoft and crap. Like if they want to be that way, fine. But you're not gonna have a loyal fan base. Yeah. Anyway, rant over. Let me know what you think. Are you disappointed about the Arcanist changes? I think I heard a streamer say week 4 is the big week now. I don't know. We'll see. I thought week 3 would include at least more feedback changes, but not. I'm really disappointed. Scale 1 to 10, I'm about a 2. So, anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video and dealing with my stupid rant. I'm really sorry about that, but I had to get it off my chest. Um, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.